My vindictive sister humiliated me with a paternity joke at our father's birthday party. So I returned the favor at her gender reveal, and what I exposed didn't just ruin her party, it destroyed her entire life. I'm Elise, 35, married to Nate, 38, for 15 years. We have 2 beautiful children, Max, who's 5, and baby Ella, who's just 3 months old. Life had been peaceful, normal, almost boring in the best way possible. Until my sister Rachel decided to turn our father's 70th birthday into her personal theater of cruelty. Let me paint you a picture of Rachel. She's the kind of person who treats other people's pain like her personal entertainment. Growing up, she was always the loud one, the funny one, except her humor was a weapon she wielded with surgical precision. At 32, she hadn't grown out of it, she'd perfected it. Dad's birthday was supposed to be this beautiful family celebration. Mom and I had spent weeks planning every detail, the menu, the decorations, the perfect guest list. Rachel? She couldn't be bothered to RSVP until the night before. Typical. The party started wonderfully. Max was running around like a little professor, explaining his latest obsession with volcanoes to anyone who'd listen. He'd made this elaborate volcano for his science project and was describing every detail of how he'd created the lava explosion. Even Dad, who usually glazes over during kids' stories, was genuinely engaged. Then Rachel made her entrance. Not just arrived, made an entrance. An hour late, clicking across the patio in designer heels, oversized sunglasses perched on her head like a crown, wearing some flowing designer scarf that belonged on a runway, not at a backyard barbecue. The entire atmosphere shifted. Dad actually stopped mid-sentence in his welcome speech. Instead of apologizing for her lateness, she just laughed. Sorry, got caught up. You know how it is. No, Rachel. We don't. From that moment, everything had to revolve around her. She critiqued the decorations, cute, but a little basic, don't you think, commented on the food, this salad needs more seasoning, and even mocked Dad's playlist, is this music from the Stone Age? But the real bomb dropped during dinner. Max was telling everyone about this book on dinosaurs he was reading, his eyes lighting up with that pure joy only kids have. Everyone was smiling, listening, engaged, everyone except Rachel. She was rolling her eyes, checking her phone, radiating annoyance that someone else held the spotlight. Then she leaned toward her husband Jake, speaking in this exaggerated whisper that carried across the entire table. Isn't it funny how Max doesn't look like Nate? He kind of reminds me of Alex, doesn't he? Alex. My ex-boyfriend from college. Someone I dated briefly years before Nate, someone everyone at that table knew about. The silence was instant and absolute. Nate's fork stopped midway to his mouth. I felt my face burning. What's that supposed to mean? I managed to say. Rachel shrugged with practiced innocence. Oh, nothing. Just joking. Don't be so serious. But the damage was done. The bomb had detonated. Nate didn't say a word. He just stared at his plate, jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle twitching. Dad tried desperately to change the subject. Everyone else started murmuring, avoiding eye contact. And Rachel? She looked absolutely delighted with herself. The rest of dinner was excruciating. I couldn't taste anything. Every time I looked at Nate, he was silent, stone-faced. And Rachel kept chatting and laughing like she hadn't just thrown a grenade into my marriage. After dinner, I cornered her. What the hell is wrong with you? She had the audacity to act confused. What? It was just a joke. No, it wasn't. You know exactly what you were doing. Why would you say that in front of Nate? In front of everyone? She rolled her eyes. Oh, please. If it's not true, why are you so defensive? You just implied my son might not be my husband's. Do you even understand how sick that is? She smirked. Relax, Elise. You're making a big deal out of nothing. That's when I knew there was no reasoning with her. Rachel doesn't apologize. She doesn't admit fault. She creates chaos and watches the aftermath like it's her personal reality show. We left early. I barely said goodbye to Dad, which made me feel terrible, but I couldn't stay another minute. The drive home was silent. Nate stared out the window the whole way. After we put the kids to bed, I finally asked, "Do you believe her?" The pause before he answered felt like years. Finally, "Of course not." "But, if it's so ridiculous, why not just take a paternity test and shut her up?" My heart sank. "Are you serious? You think I need to prove something that isn't even in question?" "I trust you, Elise." But Rachel's comment, "What if there's something to it?" "What if there's nothing to it?" I snapped. "You're supposed to trust me, not her." We went to bed without resolving anything. I lay awake all night, feeling like my world had tilted off its axis. Rachel had planted a seed of doubt in my husband's mind, and I could feel it taking root. The next morning, Nate was quiet. Not his usual morning quiet, this was heavy, loaded with unspoken accusations. He played with the kids, but I could see his mind working, watching Max's face like he was looking for evidence. By afternoon, I couldn't take it anymore. "We need to talk about this." Nate sighed. "Talk about what?" "Don't play dumb. You've been weird since Rachel's comment." "I told you I trust you," he said, not meeting my eyes. "Do you?" "Because it doesn't feel like it." "It's not that I don't trust you. But Rachel, she's manipulative. What if she knows something?" "She knows nothing," I said. "She's just stirring up drama because that's what she does." The silence that followed was deafening. Days passed. The tension was suffocating. Nate kept insisting he trusted me while acting like he didn't. He started studying Max's face in photos, comparing features. I caught him going through old photo albums one night. "Looking for evidence?" I asked bitterly. "I'm just looking at pictures." "You're looking for proof he's not yours." He didn't deny it. Max started noticing. "Why does Daddy look so serious all the time?" he asked. "Are you and Daddy fighting?" My heart broke. This wasn't his fault. He deserved better than this poisoned atmosphere. The breaking point came during another argument that started over something trivial, what to have for dinner, but spiraled into the real issue. "I can't live like this anymore," I said. "What do you want me to do?" Nate asked. "Just pretend those doubts aren't there?" "Yes. Because they're baseless." "Then take the test. Prove it." I felt something inside me break. "The fact that you need me to prove it means you don't trust me. Do you understand how humiliating this is?" When he didn't answer, I knew. He wouldn't let this go until he had his proof. The next morning, I made the decision. Not for Nate. For Max. For our family. If this stupid test would bring peace back to our home, fine. The process was simple. Cheek swabs for Max, Nate, and me. Max thought it was a fun science experiment, which made me feel even worse. He had no idea his parents were essentially putting our family on trial. The wait for results was torture. Every interaction with Nate felt loaded. How had we gotten here? How had one vicious comment from my sister brought us to this point? When the results arrived, I opened them with shaking hands. There it was, 99.9% match. Max was Nate's son. I handed the paper to Nate without a word. "I'm sorry," he said quietly after reading it. "Sorry?" I whispered. "That's it? I shouldn't have doubted you." I let Rachel get in my head. I wanted to scream at him, to make him understand how deeply he'd hurt me. But I was too exhausted. The damage was done. For days, Nate apologized repeatedly. But I couldn't look at him the same way. Trust, once broken, doesn't just snap back into place. Meanwhile, Rachel hadn't reached out once. No apology. No acknowledgement. Nothing. That's when I decided, if she could wreak havoc on my marriage without consequence, maybe it was time she learned what that felt like. I started digging. Rachel's social media was her shrine to herself: perfect brunches, gym selfies, carefully curated vacation photos. But something was off. For someone so obsessed with appearances, there were surprisingly few recent photos of her with Jake, her husband. Curious, I checked Jake's profile. Even more sparse. No couple photos in months. It was like they were living separate digital lives. I created a fake Facebook account and started investigating. Rachel had 2 profiles, her main one and an older, seemingly abandoned account. I sent a friend request to the old one. She accepted within hours. That's when I hit gold. Rachel was in multiple private Facebook groups with names like Discreet Connections and Secret Lives. The posts were shocking tips on hiding affairs, managing double lives, keeping suspicious spouses in the dark. Rachel wasn't just a member. She was actively commenting, giving advice, always have a backup story ready, and use different names on dating apps. My perfect sister was living a secret life. But it got worse. A name kept appearing in her comments: Brandon. They were clearly communicating outside the groups. Then I found it: Rachel had an OnlyFans account. I couldn't believe it at first. But there she was, using a fake name but unmistakably her. She wasn't just posting risque photos, she was creating explicit content, private messages, custom videos. And her biggest fan? Brandon. The woman who'd nearly destroyed my marriage by implying I was unfaithful was literally selling herself online while cheating on her husband. That's when Rachel announced she was pregnant. She made a huge production of it on social media: our little miracle is finally here. The timing was suspicious. Rachel and Jake had been trying for years. She used to complain constantly about her fertility struggles. I knew the truth. I'd seen the messages between her and Brandon. I'd seen enough to know that this miracle baby might not be Jake's at all. When my mom announced she was throwing Rachel a gender reveal party, I saw my opportunity. Isn't it nice that the family's celebrating Rachel's pregnancy? Mom asked. Nice? After what she'd done to me? But I smiled and said I'd be there. Oh, I'd definitely be there. The party was typical Rachel: over-the-top decorations, catered food, a massive balloon arch. She floated around in a flowing dress, playing the perfect mother-to-be. Everyone gathered for the balloon pop. Pink confetti exploded. "It's a girl!" Rachel squealed. That's when I made my move. "So Rachel," I said loudly, "have you told Jake about Brandon yet?" The party stopped. Rachel's perfect smile cracked. "What are you talking about?" she said, her voice tight. "Brandon. Your OnlyFans subscriber. Your affair partner. The possible father of your baby." The color drained from her face. "You're crazy." "Am I?" I pulled out my phone, showing screenshot after screenshot: her messages with Brandon, her OnlyFans account, her posts in the cheating groups. I handed the phone to Jake. "Take a look." As Jake scrolled through the evidence, his expression morphed from confusion to horror to rage. "Rachel," he said finally, "what the hell is this?" She stammered, hands fluttering. It's not what it looks like." "Really?" "Because it looks like you've been cheating on me. It looks like you've been lying about everything." The entire party was watching now. Rachel turned on me, desperate. "You jealous witch. You've wanted to ruin me ever since." "Since what?" "Since you tried to destroy my marriage with your joke?" "No, Rachel. You ruined yourself." I just pulled back the curtain. Jake threw my phone on the table. "Is the baby even mine?" "Of course she is." Rachel cried. "Then take a paternity test." "Prove it." Rachel's mouth opened and closed like a fish. The silence was deafening. I don't need to prove anything, she said finally. Jake laughed bitterly. That's what I thought. He walked out, slamming the door. Rachel collapsed into a chair, sobbing. The party guests stood frozen. Even my mom, who always defended Rachel, looked shocked. As Nate and I left, I felt oddly calm. For the first time in months, the weight lifted from my shoulders. Rachel had spent her life destroying others for sport. This time, she'd destroyed herself. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Jake left that night and filed for divorce within days. Rachel tried to refuse the paternity test, but her refusal only confirmed Jake's suspicions. When Rachel finally gave birth months later, the baby didn't look anything like Jake. Mom called me that morning, voice trembling. She doesn't look like him at all. Rachel eventually confessed that Brandon was the father. Jake finalized the divorce. Brandon wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. Even our parents, after years of enabling her behavior, finally stepped back. Rachel was left alone with the wreckage of the life she'd destroyed. As for me and Nate, we're in counseling. It's not easy rebuilding trust, but we're trying. We're healing. Rachel became exactly what she tried to make me, someone whose life was shattered by lies and betrayal. Except in her case, they were her own lies, her own betrayal. Sometimes the best revenge isn't something you plan. Sometimes it's just holding up a mirror and letting someone see exactly who they are. And sometimes, the person who tries hardest to destroy others ends up destroying only themselves.